Good afternoon. So what I want to show you right now is how you can complete Punett squares. Punett squares sometimes tend to be a little bit difficult for some students. So I'm going to give you a problem. We have Amber and Jerry. Now Amber has free earlobes. That means that they kind of hang down from her ears. They're not like just sort of stuck to her head. And her mother had attached earlobes. Jerry, on the other hand, has attached earlobes. And we want to find the genotypic ratios and the phenotypic ratios for their potential children. So I'm going to show you, I've given you this problem on purpose. It's kind of difficult, but I've given you this problem on purpose. There's no letters provided to tell you what alleles would be in the genotypes. And so I'm going to show you a method that you can use to solve problems like these. The first thing that we're going to do, if you look at step 1, we're going to determine the two traits. In our case, it's free earlobes and attached. And I'm going to make a key. So F stands for free, and A stands for attached. Now notice I'm using capital letters, and I'm using different ones. The reason I'm doing this is because we don't know right now which trait is dominant. We're going to have to figure that out. So I don't want to use a lowercase letter and be wrong about which trait's dominant, because then I'd just be more confused. So I've made my key as it states in step 2. Now on number 3, it says determine which trait is dominant. If someone can be heterozygous for that trait, it means it is dominant. So let's look back at our problem. Amber has free earlobes, but her mother had attached earlobes. So if somebody has a trait that's different from what their parents have, that means that they are going to be heterozygous. So Amber would have to have a free earlobe gene, because she has free earlobes, and an attached earlobe gene that she got from her mother. Well, that also tells us that Jerry, since we know that free is the dominant trait, and attached is the recessive, so now we figured that out. Jerry is going to have two A's, because the only way to get a recessive trait is to get two recessive genes. So I set up my Punett square, and honestly it does not matter which, if you put Amber on the side or across the top, or if you put Jerry on the side or across the top, as long as one person's on the side and one person's on the top. So I'm going to put Amber up here at the top. She's F-A, and Jerry is A-A. I'm going to take my A over and my F down. Now I'm going to mess these genotypes up just a little bit on purpose here to show you guys something. I'm going to bring my F down and my A over, and these are going to be A, A, and A, A. This genotype and this genotype are the same thing. These are both heterozygous. So AF and FA mean the exact same thing. It does not matter which way you write the letters. It asked us for genotypic ratios. Now typically this would be like saying there's 2 FAs to 2 AAs or 1 to 1. But I'm going to have you do it as a percentage. And so you're going to list your genotypes. Usually, dominant traits are listed first. That's just kind of how they do it. Now, if we look, there's a 2 out of 4 shot of getting FA, so that's 50%. And there's a 2 out of 4 shot of getting AA, which is 50%. Then it wants to know the phenotypic ratio. And in this case, it's going to be free 50% because free is dominant. And if we get the free gene and the attached gene together, we'll get the dominant trait. So 50% are going to be free in this case, and 50% are going to be attached because we have 2 attached genes together in 2 of the boxes. And therefore, that would give us attached earlobes. Now, if I go back to the questions, so I found and listed on number 4 the genotypes of Amber and Jerry, who are the parents. I set up the Punett square. I determined the genotypes and the phenotypes and the percent probability of each. And there you go. And that is how we complete Punett squares.